Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everyone to the brand new show. And what a wonderful show we are going to have today. We are going to talk with one of the finest chess trainers in the world, the man who has worked with Caruana, Giri, Radjabov, Hou Yifan, Vidit Gujarati, and the list is endless. There are so many top players with which he has worked that it would take me quite a few minutes to give that introduction. But right now, let me welcome everyone who's in the chat. So as you all join in, would like to show you our today's thumbnail over here. This is um, what we made. He That's Vladimir Chuchelov on the right. He is the one of the world's finest chess trainers, and as you can see, these are some of his best students that he has worked with. Arunab Chaudhary, thank you so much for the super chat. And well, I guess now everything is well on track. It would be a good time to welcome the man himself, Vladimir Chuchelov. Welcome, Vladimir. How are you?
Thank you to have me on your show. So I see this wonderful picture. Actually, Anish Giri just posted me this few minutes ago. And yeah, it looks very good, actually. It couldn't be done better, yeah?
Well, I had to limit the number of students to be put because, I can only add so many. So I added 4, but I know that you have worked with so many strong players.
Yeah, that's a good one. There was another, I remember there was another poster. It was also after Fabiano, he clinched his win in St. Louis. There was also very, very nice, the same type of what you just showed in the beginning.
Fantastic.
It's a good way to show it, yes.
Yeah, Vladimir, it's a big honor to have you with us right now. I also know how busy you are. You are working around the clock. Am I right? You just finished your training session just a few minutes ago?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. So it was just planned. Like we have 20 minutes to prepare for your show, so mentally. And yeah, it was like 20 minutes ago we finished my training, yes. And still the list goes on today.
So this show ends and then you have another training.
Oh, yes. Yeah, it was just planned in between.
Unbelievable. Tell us how do you manage to work so hard? I mean, I know that you have been consistently working now for around 2 decades or maybe even more, yeah, if I'm not mistaken.
No. Actually, this whole story started in 2002. So I have, of course, it was not like from the very beginning I was thinking that I'm going to pursue the coaching career. And all, of course, as usual, happens by coincidence. So I have to thank Dutch Grandmaster Piquet, who in 2002 invited me to be his, at that time, second in Vaikanze. And that's how the whole thing started. So it was my first year. I never had, I had some little coaching experience before, but it was the first time, and immediately to the top event with the top player. So it was for me at that time really huge. And I remember that we had all this session in Netherlands, and then we went to Vaikanze. And although, I tell this story very often to my students, my first experience in Vaikanze wasn't that great because I got completely sick, because Vaikanze is famous for its flus, and because there are many people, they come in all around the world, and it's really good. Of course, in current situation, it's not comparing to coronavirus, but still, it was a kind of always place where you have to be careful. And so for me, the first experience was quite dramatic, because I got really severe flu and even had to go in the middle of event back home. Yeah.
So this
But
was
yeah.
2002, I think, is when your training career began. I think we are going to talk about your entire journey from starting as a trainer to becoming one of the best in the world. But I would just like to inform you, we have close to 1,000 people joining here, watching it, and we also have one of your students in the chat. He's watching this live. Can you guess who he would be?
I hope it's not Anish Giri.
You guessed it right. It's him. He's going to play. He's going to play the Legends tournament in 5 hours from now. But he's watching this.
Yes, he wants to get inspired for the rest of the event. So I'm also always watching what he's doing. So this is good.
Okay. So while we have, I don't think Anish would stay here for the entire duration of this because naturally he should be preparing for such a big event. So while we have him here,
yes, he has to. He has to.
While we have him here, yes. How about you telling us a bit about Anish? How did you get in touch with him? This was one of the things I wanted to know. And how did
yes, I remember that. I think the first time it was like I don't remember exactly how it was, but I remember that from Dutch Federation I had some kind of assignment somewhere, and at the same time I didn't know Anish at all, and I didn't even know that eventually we would be working or whatever we would be doing because he was very young. I don't remember, maybe 15 or something years old, but it's already really in the past, yeah. And so they told me there will be Anish Giri. By the way, you can just look at him a little bit. He just moved or moving to Netherlands, and so maybe you should just have a look or chat with him, yeah. And it's the first time that I've seen him, but I don't remember. I don't even think that maybe we said just hello or whatever, but it was nothing spectacular. And I think that more or less like only some maybe year later, it's that he was playing in Vacanze, and I remember that it was this big group that he was playing very well, and that from that moment it started to be more serious because okay, he was qualifying to he qualified I think to the A group and all this, but I don't remember if we already started working before this or after. This is really, I only remember, Luc Van Velde was, because at that time I was with Luc Van Velde in helping him in A group, and I remember that he was always making all kind of jokes, about that I was more focused on what Anish is doing in B group because he was qualifying, and eventually it meant that we would work together later, and then I was focused on his own tournament. Yeah.
I think Anish would tell us when exactly your work with him began, but was it roughly around he was 2600 or 2650 when you began working with him?
No. I think it was earlier than that. Really? I think he was. If I'm not mistaken, it was like he was like 25-35 or 25-30, something like this.
Wow.
Yeah, but I don't remember it really well. I remember that when I started working with Fabiano, that he was 26, I think 70 or something like this, 26-65 or 69, around this margin. Yeah.
Okay.
Although it was, but Anish, I think it was like 25-35 the first time maybe, but we started to work later more. So when I started to go with him to the tournaments, and but the first encounter, I think it was around this.
And
I remember well that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying, and you managed to take him right up till close to 2780 or 2800, close to that rating.
I think that we were working all the way till end of 2013. I think he was like through this period at highest peak he was like 2750 something, 2750. 3 or 7, I don't remember. I looked at some point, but I don't remember it now.
So if you had to
Unfortunately, because right after this, he actually finished his school, and then he made again some kind of very good year and stuff like this. But okay.
So if you had to tell about Anish's best qualities as a player and as a student, what you found in him that made you feel that this boy will go the distance, what would it be?
Well, it was I think already from our first session, which coincidentally was a strategic balance, but not in the version that we have it now. But it was like because it was in making for many years, and let's say it was one of the first versions that already that I was showing to my students, and I remember that so he was really good. He was really good. And I had a couple of, because in those exercises there are of course many kind of positions, sub positions, and I remember that some of them they were really difficult and requiring really, that let's say if you find it, then it's like some kind of flash. And I remember that he surprised me like this few times, and well, I don't know, maybe at that time he was just one of the best students or whatever it is, but I remember it totally impressed me. And one of the first things that I wrote to Dutch Federation, that they should really do something about it, because I think that could be somebody from the future top 10.
Wow.
So that was, although it was very long way to go, but I was totally optimistic for some reasons.
And Anish has mentioned in the chat that you started working around 2009 when it was the Dutch Championship, somewhere around that time.
Yes, exactly. It was something like this, but I couldn't remember. I was thinking it was 2010, so it was 2009. Yeah. Okay.
Brilliant. And
yeah, that's clear. Yeah, that was around this period. Yeah.
And I think you also, Anish, was he your first top student that whom you worked with, or was it Fabi? Who was it first?
No, it was, well, initially it was Jeroen Piquet, and it was Luc Van Velde for like, we working like, I believe 4 or 5 years that we were, okay, it was not like all the time working, but we had sessions time to time, and I was going with him to Vacanze. And then, yes, Fabiano, it started surely even 1 or 2 years later. Yeah, one year. I think it was like middle of 2010 or even end of 2010, I think.
Okay.
And I believe that 2011 it was the first time that I went with him to the tournament. Yeah, something like this.
So actually.
No, Anish was for sure first, but at that time Anish wasn't the top player, but he was really very promising. That was absolutely clear to me.
And this is
but of course
Fabi, and I think you also started working with him when he was around 2670 or 2680, yeah, like and you pumped him up to.
With Fabiano, yes, he was I think around 2670, but it was kind of 2670, which could be easily become 2610. It was not 2670 to become 2800, let's say.
yeah, and
so it was.
I guess when you were working with him, he also gave his best performance at Sinkfield in 2014, where he scored 10 out of 14, or I mean, he was unbelievable streak. Yeah, he was 7 out of 7.
Yeah, it's when he started like 7 out of 7.
7 out of 7.
And
yeah.
by each 7 out of 7 was completely amazing performance. Of course, don't think like it was all planned. But it was really the highlight tournament where I would say that actually during this tournament I could see how in general things are working in chess and in training business. It's like you have to see that if you really want to become a good player, it's not like you have training here and training there. It actually has to be some kind of process, you see. And this the highlight of the Secret Cup. It was actually the kind of the crown of the process which was ongoing for years before, of course. And because, not to mention that, let's say, of course, each tournament, it's it all depends on certain circumstances, yeah. And here, all circumstances were in Fabiano's favor. But at the same time, if you look even by the games and by separate, of course, you know that on the top chess, it's very important, all kind of ideas in the openings and preparation and everything, yeah. And you could see that he was basically using all our work, what was done, not even before the tournament or before the game, but it was like through all this period. Because that was one idea, for example, it was from 2 years ago, the one 1 year ago, one just before the game. So it was all, incorporated in this big success, what this amazing result what he managed. Actually, 7 out of 7 was not a limit, because at some point he could even win, I think, the 8th game or even 9th, yeah. So, but it was already so much that we started to worry,
yeah, it was unbelievable. It was
difficult to keep it under control,
I think
You
3,000
could have
plus.
simply heart attack.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he was performing at about 3,000 ELO rating. I want to talk about this method that you spoke about, the method which was like a crown in the Sinkfield Cup. But before that, you met Anish and Fabi both when they were very young, and now they both have become world-class players. And Fabi is world number 2. Anish has been right at the top right now, number 10, but he has been number 3, number 4 in the world. What is the difference between these two players? Are the methods always same when working with two different individuals like this, or it's different completely? How are they different?
No, so the thing is that, of course, the common base, it was always that when we were starting, it was this strategic balance ideas and everything. So that's what, in general, was very often what we were using, and it was our common language. Yeah, that's maybe what is in common. But also, largely in common, it's this kind of analytical work. People call it different ways. Some people say it's working on the openings, while some people say something else. But for me, it's actually analytical work. It's exploring chess. And so coincidentally, let's say with strong players a lot, it happens in, let's say, during opening preparation. But nowadays, of course, we understand that opening, there is not anymore this kind of gradation between, opening, middle game, and end game. So it's all actually, it's pretty much universal, So I call it simply analytical work. Of course, apart from this, always in common what we were doing, it's deeply analyzing the games which were played. So discussing it from all possible perspectives. So it was also going on actually till very late, even already when there were balls above 2750, but still it was a lot of time dedicated to discussing games. It's for me, it's when I work with my students, it's more or less the two phases. It's the strategic balance course, which is clear, it's pretty big, so already you can see it on a number of hours. Actually, it's even more than, let's say, this actual course of, let's say, the 60 hours or whatever. It's like we put it because you have to make some limitations at some point. Otherwise, you could go on and go on, yeah? Because it's some kind of subject which, of course, can be discussed forever, because we actually speaking about the essence of chess, so how chess is working, how those strategic elements were working with each other. So basically, we try to understand chess much better than, and we try to make kind of universal approach to chess. So it's of course all very interesting, and it's still ongoing process. Although we have already certain shapes and certain rules, but it's still ongoing process. And then it comes this what we call analytical work. It's where analysis. You just have to explore chess. You have constantly to analyze new positions. You have to discover new ideas. You have to understand why, how it's working. Obviously, we're living in the modern times, and we very actively using computers. And but this is also one of the let's say one of the things that we have to really to perfect on constant basic, because working with computer, it's actually it's like a standalone subject, because you have to not simply to look some variations to see what computer says, but you have to basically to learn from computer. You have to, because it's not like computer, but computer to sudden depths which were absolutely unimaginable some years back, and it shows you the real truth, the truth about the position, the truth about the approach to the position. So, but it takes a lot of tremendous time actually to learn efficient with computer. So, with other words, direction first, it's analytical work, but then of course analytical work has to perfect itself. So it goes in direction of efficiency. So you have the main idea of the training is to learn to be very efficient. So that's the kind of main direction.
Well,
in many ways. So whatever you do, if it's analyzing of the games, analyzing some variations, simply like discussing chess, and of course on the top of it, it's clearly that, but it's already very individual work. It's when we a lot of time to psychology, physiology, whatever. Those kind of main directions.
Amazing how you have been able to work with these top guys in such a focused manner. Coming to the topic of strategic balance, because I think this is something very unique to you. This is something which we can say is your trademark, your copyright, and this is also going to be the theme of what you will be teaching when on 1st of August we will have the training session with you and Vidit, both of you joining and you teaching. So what is strategic balance according to you, and how did it come about? Is it like something which can change the understanding of a chess player with regards to chess?
Well, I believe that it definitely change. First of all, it shows quite a different approach. It's like, how to tell you, you have, so of course, it's all about the way we learn in chess, yeah? And if you look at this, so most of the time, okay, from the very beginning, I'll already go a little bit on more advanced stage when we already know how to develop pieces and make a short castle, yeah, sure. Or long castle. So it's when we're reading the books, we having kind of training courses. So mostly we talk about all kind of elements, like the pawn structure. We talk about the position of the pieces, good knight, bad knight, pair of bishops, open files, center, playing against the center. So all these, we talk about this in chess. And what the idea of strategic balance is to show how those elements, they work with each other, you see? So it's like to show you exactly that each position deserves its own approach, and it's based on the strategic situation on the board, and not on some kind of separate elements, like whether it is the material, or it is the pawn structure, or it is the position of the king, or let's say whatever it is. So, and this is kind of that you get much better understanding also of where, for example, the prophylaxis, how it works, because we talk a lot about prophylaxis, but for example, not all of us know that prophylaxis is actually efficient only in some type of situations, and definitely in some other type of situations it would be, for example, like simply wasting of time. So the time factor, it gives you actually insight how you have to approach different type of positions where you are strategically superior or you strategically inferior. So that's which is happening, by the way, on the daily basis, because if you think that when you play with white pieces, you always, whatever you do, you get in strategically superior position, and with black pieces, you always get strategically inferior position.
True.
And this is exactly so shows you how you have to handle those type of situations.
Okay. So
and how it works, yeah, with clear rules, with clear ideas, and it's so kind of nearly mathematically proven, in fact.
Is it like a concept that you built over a period of years? How did it come into existence? I know the story that I think it started with Dorfman, but I think many of the people who are viewing this would not know. How did the strategic balance come, this entire concept in your head?
Yes, it came like, just, I can tell you that it was, I think, I don't remember exactly, I think it was the year 2000, so I have to check it actually exactly, each time I forget about this. I was playing the tournament in Mandaris. It was the interzonal tournament at that time. For qualification for this future candidates. It was some kind of selection tournaments, yeah. And there I met Josip Dorfman, who is also actively working as a trainer nowadays, yeah. And I remember that at that time, so it was, kind of place where was not much to do, and we kind of got together. So we went for many walks, and we were discussing live chess, students, so all kind of things. And I remember that at that time he was actively discussing this idea of static balance, which later he wrote two books, which one called Method in Chess, and there is another one, like the second, the follow-up after this. And he was discussing about also giving to many grandmasters some kind of position and asking the questions. And grandmasters are always skeptical when it comes to I will give you the way how to find the best move, yeah. And of course they have a lot of questions, and they say, and why this and why that. And at that time, to me, it was also kind of like, yeah, maybe it's interesting, but here it's a question, and here it's a question. So it was, and of course for him it was also in making, yeah. So he had just an idea to find some kind of algorithm of figuring out the best move, but it was also in making at that time, yeah. But later it was his book, and so nothing was happening until I think the year 2005 or 2006. So like already years later. That it happened, like I told you, in 2002, my first debut as a second with Ivan Piquet. I wasn't yet coach, because there is, of course, difference between, let's say, being a second and being a coach. Because coach, a second, it's, let's say, somebody who just helps you in certain ways. Mostly it's opening preparation and during the tournament or also before the tournament. And coach, of course, it's some different. It's already more you have to go not only to the opening preparation, but in general on studying chess, being able to, let's say, to have students and to lead them throughout this training process, which is including, of course, not only opening preparation, but many other issues, also not only chess related, also the psychology and whatever it is. So coaching, like we say, yeah. So it's already a different situation. And so it was from the 2002 that I slowly, because it was actually the main success came in 2003 already. It was the first kind of idea, but suddenly I was thinking that maybe it's a good idea, maybe it's interesting to think about, to pursue this idea of coaching people, because in 2003, the other Dutch grandmaster, Luc van Wille, he, after Jeroen Piquet, somehow quit chess, like my students like to make jokes after 1 year of knowing me, yeah. So he, as I found out later, he advised Luc van Wille at that time. He was looking for the second for vacancy 2003, and Jeroen advised him. So he said, "You can work with Vladimir, so you'll see how it works. So like it can be interesting." And that's where we was my second debut, which was very successful because we were preparing. I remember for 5 weeks. Even Dutch television crew came here to Eupen to film us having training. And Luke even brought his bike, because in Netherlands it's very popular the bikes, yeah. And he brought a bike here, and they were filming him making here a cross with the bike and being shape and ready for Ekanze, yeah. And also what was spectacular about this success that before that tournament, Luke had a very minus score. It was like minus 35, I think, in total, because he was participating many, many times in Vaikanzea. And for him, it was like a really difficult tournament. And for us, the tournament went brilliantly. So at some point, he was like +3. And he had this even deal with the organizers, which was depending on his performance. And so he had a big bonus if he would make a plus score. And nobody believed that he would make the plus score in this tournament, yeah? So that's why they put a really high bets on the plus score and nearly nothing if he would make less than 50%, because they were convinced that if he regular makes -4 and -5 or -6 even sometimes, that nothing would be a change in this tournament, yeah? And okay, so, but that's how it started. And after the success, so it was like Dutch Federation started to ask me to work with some young players. I remember it was a group of Young Orange. By the way, all these guys, there was Van Kamp and Bok, some other players, they're all, by the way, grandmasters nowadays. Nearly from this group, it was 8 players, I think. So at that time, there were 2,300, I think, or something like this, I remember. And so more and more, I got involved and I started to have some kind of demands also on the private sector for some trainings or group sessions. And I realized that definitely being grandmaster, you're not automatically qualify as a coach. So you need to invest really a lot of time to prepare your material. And and it's ongoing process because you have more and more sessions to do, and clearly you have to work very hard. And for me, it was, I remember that I even decided that entire year I was working like 8 hours a day on my material. But of course, before you start to do anything, you have to inform yourself. You don't have to create something which is maybe already created. And so at that time, I was actively reading all kind of possible different books from coaches, simply some books, going through all kind of possible tactical books. My favorite books at that time were Dvoretsky books. And that was influencing also my way of, let's say, working with my students. Like, for example, paying a lot of attention for calculating training, for example. And also, of course, I was reading all possible books, and including those books of Dorfman, like my method in chess, and the second one, and all this. It was a lot of information coming from all different, but still, I didn't have a clear idea or clear concept. So it was more kind of in collecting all possible information. And then came one day that I received the new book of Mark Dvoretsky, and there I saw some kind of position which attracted my attention, because probably it was something that at that time for me was beyond understanding. Yeah, like why would you play this? And still there was some kind of move with 2 exclamation marks, and so I didn't understand this. And here, it came kind of flash that these explanations that he was giving in this example, they were kind of, not 100%. Like, because of course, at that time, whatever I was reading, I was already projecting like me explaining to my student. Like, for example, what would I explain? And I felt like it was kind of strange way to explain this. And at the same time, I suddenly realized that these ideas of Dorfman, which actually they were coming back from like 4 years ago, that the last time I was thinking about them, 4 years back. And then suddenly, I was thinking, oh, but by the way, if you kind of, sort of apply this idea, that kind of explains it much better and much easier. And was, the starting point. It's where suddenly I got the idea that actually this idea to create this kind of, algorithm of finding the best move, it appealed to me very well. Because of course also, don't forget that apart that working with, let's say, all kinds of students, even, let's say, maybe not the beginners, but let's say starting from 2100 and finishing to go to Vacanze with top players performing in the top event of the year. So it was giving me all this kind of, idea how in general it works and what you have to do, let's say, in the beginning in order to become later, let's say, one of the top players. And well, I was nearly to say vice versa, yeah, from the top player to become beginner, but let's say maybe not that, yeah. So and and that this is how it started. So it started from this kind of this Dorfman from year 2000, our talks. And then in the year 2005, working hard on looking to try to find my idea of concept, how to build the work, to organize this training process. And this one very special day when I encountered this position, and suddenly it was kind of flash. And from that moment, I started to develop it and try to apply this method. And then I realized that I need to improve it. And well, finally, after years of working on it, it was improving by many ways and it became completely different, basically. And that's why at the end, it became the strategic balance course.
So is it true that any student...
Let's say from static balance, it went all the way to strategic balance.
Yeah. So is it true like any student who wants to work with you has to go through this course? Like otherwise you don't work with them?
Well, it's let's say it would definitely make much less sense and efficiency if you don't go through this course. It's absolutely clear. Yeah, I think that, to be honest, it's not like because it's my course, because how to tell you, it's really kind of new dimension. It's a new dimension. It's like, like for example, let's say you're making some platform like Google and there are developers, right? So this is the strategic balance. It's a platform. And from that point, it's like even later when I work with my students, it's like we work, but it's the same like for me, like for my students, it's like strategic balance. It's somewhere, let's say, on the shelf, and we both referring there, you see? So it's not like me telling this because it's really big, it's like more or less you speaking about the fundamental approach. So it's like, if many years ago we had Nimtsevich my system, for example, and he tried to do my system. So it's a system, and this system which is welcome for developers. And actually it was through the developing. So this entire course, it was developed more or less in the whole period of 10 years with changes. It was, the latest change was in 2015, end of 2015, although it started like more or less from 2005, yeah? And over the years, there were coming new examples, new explanations, finally a completely change the evaluation of position, and according to this, the way you approach it. And all this, by the way, we do in the course. I explained, I show how it was and how it was developing, and all these ideas that were coming. And so it was basically, I was very lucky that I had an opportunity to work with many players and many very talented players. And of course, each of them were in some way contributing to this process. So that's why it was in making, and that's why, of course, it's quite a special course.
Yeah, I think we wouldn't go into the details of what the course is. If someone would like to learn that, that's happening from 1st to 10th. But also there is a rating barrier of 2300 because the course is meant for players who are at a specific level, who can understand. Yeah, it's a very complex course. Yeah, I have seen some of your notes, and they run into pages and pages of analysis.
Yes, well, it's not exactly that barrier is actually 2300. It's simply, that when you make a groups, it's always better that you have kind of homogen group somehow, a homogen group. But generally speaking, I have also students with 2100, for example, and it's perfectly fine. It's not really the barrier. Let's say you have to be advanced player, but already I believe that starting from 2100, it's absolutely no problem. It only depends, because you understand, you have to spend time with it. You have to spend time with this, because first you get a lot of completely new ideas and new information, which basically you didn't come across anywhere else. And then you need a lot of time, because to see from different examples and different angles. And then at the end of it, you definitely have a clear idea how it works and what it is.
Right.
So it's more like this, but you need to spend time. And then, of course, once, let's say, the course is over, you continue to develop it, basically. You develop it through analyzing your own games, in analytical work, working with computer, explaining all kind of why it is, for example, this is the best continuation and not that one, why this is the mistake. So basically, all this you can explain with the ideas of strategic balance. And the explanations are very logical and very easy, in fact.
Yeah.
But definitely the main idea of strategic balance, that in the beginning you have kind of rules. It's like nearly you saying, look, these two elements in your favor, these two elements in his favor. So in total it makes this. But clearly the idea of the whole process of working on strategic balance, it's that you get it intuitively. That basically you simply understand chess much better, and it goes to you intuitively.
Brilliant.
So that's the final goal.
Brilliant. And I think you worked on it tremendously hard. I want to show the viewers where you live. Actually, it's in a place called Eupen in Belgium, and it's a beautiful place.
So not like in the middle of the field, yeah?
No. This is somehow you get a feel like this is the city center of Eupen, and it's such a beautiful place. I was there. In fact, I had the great pleasure of spending a few hours with Vladimir in his workroom and understanding how he works. And one thing, Vladimir, I'm thoroughly impressed is your work ethic. Like, you are constantly working, you are constantly fine-tuning your course, you're trying to improve your material. Where does this passion come from?
Yeah, it's kind of, well, first of all, of course, it's clear that you have to love chess in general.
Yeah.
That's the necessary condition. But for me, it's kind of I don't know, I have passion for analysis. I have passion to find out the truth, and that's how it goes. So it's kind of inner drive, always to find something new, to perfect something. It's a drive to perfection, so I would say. So it's not only for chess. It's it's on some kind of maniac stage. But for everything, I want to see some kind of perfection, whatever it is. Chess, even design, whatever. So it's just like this, yeah.
Unbelievable, brilliant. And you know, we
comes from some kind of
comes from what?
Yes, it comes just for finding the perfect harmony, I think. Yeah.
Very nice.
To always to perfect things.
Amazing. You know, we spoke about.
It is, for me, by the way, interesting. Because, you know, you have people who, let's say, creating from scratch. And for me, it is more that I need a frame and a sudden frame, and then I'm going to get it to perfection. So that's kind of interesting, because so it's like, for me, it was very important that, for example, I had this starter from this idea of Dorfman, simply that the idea itself to find the algorithm for the best move. And then already I got on this. Once I got on it, I really pushed it to perfection.
True. Yeah. Brilliant. And we spoke about Anish, we spoke about Fabi. I think one of the students whom we should definitely talk about is Raja, because he is being one of the best players in the world. He is world number 9, World Cup winner recently, but also he has become a very big favorite amongst all the viewers right now online chess, because he started streaming, and such a charismatic person. How has been working with him, and what do you think about him as a player?
Yeah, Timur, it's clear. Yes, he's to say that he's chess player. It would be really too narrow, because he's actually advanced in many ways. Not last, by the way, in his very great business qualities. And with Timur, it was actually the first time I met him. I think it was. I don't remember exactly, but it was very long time ago. It was maybe this one of the first years that I went to Veikanze, maybe 2002 or 2003. It was my first encounter with him. I remember he was with his father Boris, who accompanied him to many events, and also was helping him a lot actually in his throughout his career. I remember he played the game against Luke Van Velde, and I think it was probably 2003 or 2004, don't remember exactly. And that was my, after this, we were discussing the game, and at that time he was playing Stonewall, French, all kind of, very strategically risky openings, yeah. And I remember that it was impossible to convince him by saying yeah, but maybe white is better. Because immediately he would come up with 25 moves, and saying, and this and this and that, and if you play this and I play that, it was like non-stop variations, and so it was impossible just to tell him no, but white is better here. So he would ask you direct proof, yeah. So and later, what the real working we started. This I also don't remember exactly the year, but I think it was something like maybe 2015, maybe maybe 2014,
Okay.
something like
Okay.
this. Yes, it was the first time. And by the way, we started from strategic balance. I remember,
Really.
and. It was a period where Timur, he had some kind of it was like after this candidate tournament in London, which didn't go well, and so he had to he was in kind of situation where he had to find a new motivation. You see, he's in general, he can be very hardworking, but he's also the player who is emotional, so with high emotions, and it sometimes goes up, he goes down, and so that's why motivation is quite important factor. And so that's what I remember, that I tried to motivate him with strategic balance course. It wasn't that simple, because the course is difficult, but that's he was suffering, I remember, but it was a good starter for him. And so I remember even that we had some kind of record session, like nearly 30 or 40 days in a row. Although it was, although with the in the middle it was some kind of World Cup. So.
Brilliant.
And and it was going for years or so. Like I say, so Timur doesn't somebody who doesn't play a lot, but he takes chess very seriously. Yeah, so he wants always, he's also kind of perfectionist. So if he does something, he wants really to be ready, and so that's why he devotes a lot of time for preparation. That's why we don't see him so often playing. But you could see that, of course, clearly it's a big player and very talented. So you could see playing his performance in the World Cup. And by the way, the games, they were also excellent. Yeah, it's pity, of course, that we didn't see him in action in the candidates, but okay. So
Yeah, it will happen.
we are living in a difficult period
Yeah,
right
that
now.
is true. That is true. So, you have achieved everything. Your students have become the best players in the world. I guess one of the things which may be missing is a world champion student, but even that has happened because you have trained Hou Yifan, who has gone on to become the world champion in women's chess. How was working with her, and do you think that she kind of prematurely stopped playing chess and she could go all the way up to, let's say, 2750 or so on?
For me, it's of course very pity that she had a break. Well, we don't know, because young and is tremendously talented, and okay, she had this period in life where she was not sure because for me, it's like this that you have separated. You have men. And she one of the ideas she kind of she felt maybe it was not easy to become a world champion, men's world champion, and because she also somebody who goes for let's say for the maximum of performance and effort, and that was maybe the idea that she had in mind when she decided to interrupt her professional chess career and go to study. But also she's somebody who has a lot of interest in life apart from chess, so it was kind of difficult to say. For me, of course, it's very pity because it was big fun to work with Yifan, and definitely I was also helping her during the World Championship match against Maria Mazurchuk. So it was also a great experience. Like you say, yes, I still didn't have Magnus. I remember though one time when I was playing for the Dutch league, he was in the same team, and I gave him one of the positions. It wasn't actually even from strategic balance, and asked him, and he had also difficulty to find the right way. But it was one position only, yeah. So of course it would be very
Well,
interesting to have him
Magnus,
for strategic balance course.
if you are listening to this, maybe it's a good idea to work with Vladimir on the strategic balance, and it could be fun. I think you
Yeah,
would you would
that
have
would be fun.
new insights
But
into the strategic balance as
yes,
well.
but I heard that Magnus doesn't like when positions are too complicated. Yeah, he likes the positions that he's solving.
True, true.
So that would be interesting. Yes, yeah, but with Yifan, yes, obviously, and but you never know. Yeah, because maybe she will still come back to chess. Yeah, and because already we see her now in action in many online events, and yeah.
Yeah, it
So
would be.
everything is possible, but of course it's clear that it's not easy. Yeah, it's not easy to come back to your level. My opinion that she could definitely cross 2700. Actually, she was very
Yeah.
close. He was 2680, I think, at some
Yes,
point
yes.
even, and we could see her winning the Bill tournament where she was completely dominating the field, and there were many players which are actually over 2700. So there were a few of them. So clearly it was possible. It's difficult to say like this 2750. It's of course already the top 10 men's. So everything is possible. For me, also you have to see that she didn't actually work that professional as many professional players do. And if you would put this condition that really she would work as much as the top players do, you never know.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
at least I can tell you that in strategic balance course, she was doing extremely well, better than many very famous players.
Well, that is some brilliant insights, and we are very keen to know about your next student here, and that is Grandmaster Vidit Gujarati. And how did he do in the strategic balance course? Was he good at it?
It's a shame we still didn't finish it. We actually interrupted. We interrupted on the middle, because at some point he had to play tournaments, and so we had to actually to focus to some concrete preparations. And we work very recent. It's just started basically, and then came the pandemic situation, and so that's how it is. But we are absolutely, we are absolutely going to at some point to finish. We just started. We went more or less to the middle of strategic balance, but Vidit definitely got already the idea about this. Because very often, already when we discuss chess and have session, then you can hear from him like he's analyzing through strategic balance ideas. So he definitely also in our group session, he will have something to say about that.
He will be one of he will spend 10 hours in the session, and Vladimir would be talking for 40 hours. But in general, a lot of Indians have a big hope from Vidit. And how do you find him as a player, and what is your opinion about him as a player?
Is he also listening?
I think he will join in a bit, but I would your answer change if he's listening or not listening?
Yeah, no, I'm joking. No, of course, it's clear that Vidit is a very talented player, and definitely the Indian hope. Of course, you have many young players, but anyway, meanwhile, he's okay. Of course, Vishy is still number one, but okay, it's clear that the years go, and so the young generation will push. So there's no doubt, and obviously that Vidit for the moment leading the squad. So we will see how it develops. It's always difficult to say because it depends exclusively on the player, on the effort he puts, and obviously on different circumstances, because the circumstances also play some role. So it's in sports, it's always very, very difficult to really predict something. And you can trust me that even if you see those, let's say, performances of Magnus Carlsen, when people think like nearly automatically he's winning the tournament, it's not at all like this. Because if you look step by step, move by move, you will see how fragile are all those victories, how actually could all go terribly wrong, and in many, many occasions, you see. So, which means that in general, sports is always interesting, it's always exciting, and obviously for the young player like Vidit, it's all options on the table. So it all depends on him.
If you had to point out one quality of Vidit that you like very much, what would it be?
One quality that. That's a good question. Maybe that he likes to take lessons with me.
He calls you the coach. He calls you Mr. Coach.
I don't want to give some insight his opponents. Not that because it's like in soccer. You say that this player he does something well, and then immediately their defenders that they're trying to neutralize him.
You can see
so let's keep the
absolute qualities of a great coach here in Vladimir. He is not saying anything about his students that will make them vulnerable. So that's wonderful. Vladimir, I wanted to invite Vidit to this.
No, I wanted to say, I'm not saying anything when 1,000 people are listening, but behind the back, quite a lot.
True. So I wanted to invite Vidit to this call, and just because he was also a part of it, maybe spend a few minutes. Let me see if he can join in here.
Hello.
Hi, Vidit.
Hi, Sagar. How are you?
Can you switch on your camera?
Yes, I'm doing. It was unexpected, suddenly.
Well, we are talking about you, and we thought, well, it would be wonderful to have you in the call.
Well, Well,
Yeah,
good things or bad things
your
about me?
I asked Vladimir about what is it that he likes about Vidit, and he said no hints to be given to his future opponents. So
That's a polite way of saying, nothing.
No.
so with it until now we have been speaking. Vladimir has been talking about Fabiano, Anish, Raja, Hou Yifan, about you. Tell us a bit about Vladimir and him as a trainer. So what has been your experience working with him?
Well, here I think there is no problem in giving away secrets. So this is good. Uh,
I'm listening.
so I think it's pretty obvious. Like I worked with him, I saw a change in my understanding of the game, and I noticed that I was lacking in some areas where he's an expert, and he guided me. So we in my games at least I saw the difference, and also I spoke to Anish, Raja, and they also became much better player after working with him. And one of the key things about him is he's extremely hardworking. I mean, every day he works like around 10 hours minimum and without fail. So it's like, as you say, in coaching, there are not many professionals, and he's clearly very professional about it.
10
He takes it very
hours each
seriously. So,
day.
yeah, I mean, roughly.
Vladimir,
Is it
sorry to ask you, but how old are you?
Actually, 50.
50, and you're still working every day 10 hours. I know from Vladimir that when his family also goes on a vacation, he is often like, I want to work, I don't want to come or something. He's so focused and so dedicated to chess. With it, it's unbelievable. Yeah, someone can work so hard.
Yeah, really. Many times when I was working with him, I get tired, but he's still working. So,
These young guys, I'm always wondering sometimes, they're always complaining, that I need a rest, I need this, I need that.
Fantastic. So
Yes.
with it, basically this training camp which we have planned from 1st to 10th of August. That was one of the plans that you had in mind. Like, you worked with Vladimir, it was a very positive experience, and you wanted more players to experience the strategic balance. Tell us about this entire thing.
yeah, I mean, in chess in general, the coaching, good coaching, I would say, is expensive naturally because it's rare. And when I look back at my career, I wish I could take good coaching, but of course, as it was expensive and financial restrictions, so I couldn't do it. But now I think this is a good opportunity because we are doing a group camp, right? So this way you can understand strategic balance at all less than half the fees, which actually the course is.
Okay.
So it's I think it's a good opportunity. Like if I was let's say 2400 or 2500 trying to improve, and I would look at this as a good opportunity to improve my game, like an investment in yourself, which would definitely pay off, something like this. But yeah, that was the entire plan, and coach readily agreed. So it's nice that it's happening, and I think mostly if young participants are taking uh, taking interest in this, it will definitely help them. I have no doubt about that.
Yeah, this is brilliant. Yeah, I mean, with it, you are India number 2, you are world number 23, you are trying to break into top 10, but at the same time, you are also thinking about the other generation, the next generation of not just India, but the camp is open across the world, but you are thinking about them and something about your chess academy that you want to develop, yeah?
Yeah, it's just what to say, it's in still like a child phase. I don't know that's the right term, but
Project.
yeah, it's a child project right now, so it's still developing. Basically the idea is to have like high quality coaching available which I kind of missed out on earlier years. Of course, I had coaching, but not all the time, and like a professional. So yeah, that is the idea, to bring or have such training camps more often. I think it would definitely help players, because in general, traveling to Europe from India is quite far, and then you kind of have to combine tournaments, and then it's not easy because the duration becomes longer, and then all kind of problems. But due to lockdown, I think it was easily possible to do it, because now everything has moved online, and it's a new experience. And I think so far I have not noticed any problem in working online. Previously it was considered, of course it's much better face to face, but it's not like a big difference.
Yeah, I can tell you honestly that I also discovered for myself this Zoom, and it's actually it has a huge potential. I didn't think about this before, because indeed, if you let's say if you travel, it's always it's a lot of expenses on the top of coaching. Of course, it's the hotel, it's the travel itself, not to mention all the time zones that you have to cross, and then back home. So it's creating actually a lot of risks unnecessarily. And it's probably the future, because of course before you couldn't imagine that you could make online course with more than 12, 13, 14 participants. Yeah, it was absolutely impossible to imagine. And of course, all these group sessions, it had to be very well organized. Everybody had to fit the agenda. So it was very, very complex procedure. And nowadays, I think, yeah, that's a great opportunity. And I think, well, as you can see, we see each other, so we talk. It all looks great, yeah?
Yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, I don't see any difference. In fact, nowadays we can also see this entire theme of top players in the world streaming and trying to interact with everyone in the world. In fact, Anish just now commented in the chat saying, you are the leader of the wolf pack. That's how they call Anish, Vidit and Raja. Yeah, the wolf pack. and you are the leader of it.
Yes, and they are definitely wolves, yeah? I'm not lambs, I can tell you.
But what do you think about this entire streaming culture? Do you enjoy it yourself, Vladimir? I think you are too busy to follow it, but in general, it is popularizing chess to an extent.
No, it's totally new to me, but I really enjoyed it. Even our podcast right now, I could stay forever. Yeah, I like it. Actually, we should do it more often,
It would be amazing. I mean, there would be so much to learn from you. And Vladimir, thank you so much for giving your precious time right now, telling us your story, telling us how you managed to, create this entire course, which is actually helping so many people across the world become stronger players. I think it is such a big contribution to the chess world.
Did you find out, by the way, did you find out his secret of why he is working so hard? I'm trying, but I don't know yet. So just asking if I should see the video all over again, if you found out the secret.
Yeah, I asked him, and he told me this question was asked to him, but I'm sure there are many more secrets which we may get to know in further podcasts.
For the future, let's keep something for the future podcast.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Vidit, I think we'll let Vladimir go. He has a training coming up. If you could stay back for a few minutes, would be grateful.
Yeah, I also have to go in few minutes. Yeah. So, but like we can do it for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. So thank you very much for having me. And so I hope that we will have a good course coming soon.
Yes. From 1st to 10th, guys, and please. Check out the link in the description for this, and if you have any questions, write to chessbaseindia@gmail.com. Vladimir, thank you so much for being with us.
Okay, thank you. Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Wonderful. Vidit, this was unbelievable, and this is something so interesting that Vidit Chess Academy and Chess Base India are doing together. And a lot of people are actually enjoyed listening to what Vladimir had to say. But how about
Mm-hmm.
just showing something related to chess? Something where I know the strategic balance, like a very one position where we can just talk about something. And I know I'm putting you in a spot, but we can just see something, maybe yesterday's position from one of the game that you analyzed or something like that, and we could talk about it for
Well,
5 minutes.
the thing is strategic balance. It's not something which can be described in like 5 minutes. Yeah. So it wouldn't do justice to it
What is
because
it?
it would be like
What
half-hearted.
what according to you is it? And Vladimir said that you are still working with him.
I think it's yeah, it's not like I've grasped it, but it's basically a concept. Like it helps you evaluate positions, how to evaluate, like, because there are many imbalances in positions, right? It helps you evaluate, understand that, how engines actually also work in a
Yeah.
way, because that's a skill we need in modern times. um, how engines work and why it suggests a particular move. For example, we just press space bar, but it's not very simple. Just by pressing space bar you can like you have to understand why it's making certain move. It helps you rationalize that, and various things like this. So it's a mechanism basically to help you understand chess in a way.
Okay. So because you have only 2 minutes, I'm going to ask you about one game specifically, because I think that you applied the strategic balance and you applied those principles really well in that. Here is the position. Let me see if I can get it on screen. Yeah. So this is the one game that I wanted to just show. You are playing white against Ali Reza Firuza,
Yeah,
and I wanted to
yeah.
ask you about this particular opening. And I think somehow the move that you were extremely proud of in this entire game was this move, a3. If I'm not mistaken?
Yes. Yes. I mean, it's not proud of, but I saw it beforehand. He missed it. So this was the turning point. But it's more about, concrete position right now. But I can tell you later on what helped me. For example, if you go a3, now he cannot play queen a3, first of all, because knight b6 and bishop c7.
Yeah.
And if he goes back queen a5, like in the game, then just queen b3. And b7 pawn is very hard to defend. But he played this b5, rook c6, queen a4, um, queen c3. And now basically the idea is that I have threats like rook c8 check, and sometimes even to play rook e6. So he played, if he plays b4, then I can play rook c8 check, right? Yeah. So he played e5 to cover the c8 square. And now of like rook f6 in this position,
And if takes?
which brings queen c6.
Yeah.
Queen c6. But after rook f6 there was a problem, if I remember correctly, and it is b4.
Oh, b4. Wow.
Suddenly now queen c6 square is protected. It's still better for white, of course, but it's complicated. And I was calculating this and in my opponent's time, and I realized that okay, after queen c3 I looked at my position, and it's very simple, that I have a big advantage because of various factors. His king is weak, most importantly, okay, and he's desperately e5. So what he needs is he needs counterplay in this position. By rook f6, b4, all these complications, I'm giving him some hope.
Right.
So I just looked at the position and said, okay, what if I just take on e5 and I like threaten rook f6? It's like simple, like it was a no-brainer for me because I don't need to even calculate lines. I just see this, that rook f6 before it's complicated.
Oh.
Save time. Otherwise, I would calculate, oh, is there a forced win? I don't need to look at it. I just know by assessing the position that okay, this position just lost, has to be lost, and I should just take 95. If you look at the game, I think I played 95 within seconds. So within seconds of very like few minutes, something like this.
So did the strategic balance
This helped
training
me
actually
evaluate
help
like
you
this
for
complications.
this?
Yeah, I mean, okay, it's hard to say, if it helped in this game, it's a long-term thing. But definitely it helped me evaluate that, okay, I just don't need to give him any counter. His position is busted, and help me take quick decisions.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Anish is in the chat and he
So
says strategic balance is taking all the aspects of the position into account to explain why the best move is actually the best move. Very interesting. Very
yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
Okay, so this is very important. Like
yes, exactly. That's the way to put it.
we could go like very flashy mode, but with it simply
I
took.
cannot hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I just didn't want to allow counterplay. Uh, but it's not a best example for strategic balance. But you showed this game, and I just shared my thought process, what I was thinking. It was now also here I played Queen A1, like just completely killing all his counterplay. I'm better, and I just killed all his counterplay. It helped me in converting the advantages.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's the best example.
Well,
But still,
we
it's
will
okay.
leave the best example for the camp, where you are going to actually teach for 10 hours. So, right now, I just wanted to show that how Vidit won this beautifully against Ali Reza, who is one of the biggest talents in the world of chess, and he managed to do it very smoothly. And at some points, as you can see, he took very simple decisions like knight e5 and queen a1, and this shows really brilliant understanding, which of course he's developed over the years by working with
Also,
him.
I think also one thing was like after Queen B6, I had not seen this A3 idea, but I intuitively felt that this cannot be right in the opening when he pawn 9 Queen B6.
Yeah.
So I felt intuitively that this is wrong because he has not developed yet. His king is still stuck in the center. There has to be something, And then I started looking because after Queen B6, my first reaction was, okay, how to defend this pawn on B2, and there was no easy way to do it. But intuitively, I felt that there must be something, and then I played castle, and then it helped me understand the position faster, I would say.
Yeah.
And I found this E3 move, and then I realized, okay, this has to be good.
And now here
Which was
knight
the key
a4,
deflection
queen
move.
b4, and a3, which was very critical to deflect the queen. I think Sarvanan has one question.
Yeah.
He says instead of rook into a6, bishop b5 check, inserting it was better or not? That's what is his question.
In the game, yeah, it was possible bishop b5, but I saw like after rook a6, castle, knight c6, his bishop is trapped, and knight e7 is not avoidable. So that's why I went for it.
Very concrete.
Yeah, the only way to stop it was rook c8, have this back rank threats, but then I just play g4, and then I get rid of the back rank problems, and the fork is still there.
Brilliant. Very, very simple. And if he goes back now.
So bishop b5 is also good move actually, what Sarvanan said, but this I thought was forcing a win.
Okay. Great. Vidit, thank you for coming here for this show, first of all, that we had. And secondly, thank you for bringing this entire camp for the Indians. It is, for not just the Indians, there will be many Indians who will benefit, but also it's open to the world. Well, any final words? It will be on 1st to 10th of August.
Yes, I'm very excited to see how it goes. It's first of its kind, and if it's a success, if the response is good, people like it, people find value in it, then of course I would develop this idea further. Right now, it's like it's just developing, and it's very nice that the first camp is itself such a huge camp with Chuchelov, who is one of the world's best coach. So it starts off well. Hopefully,
off with a bang.
I can deliver.
Yeah, absolutely. I think with it, thank you for all that you do. Now you are a world-class chess player, a very successful chess streamer. You are now going with Vidit Chess Academy, starting your own academy to make sure there are more champions that are created. And I think it's an endless list. Yeah, we shouldn't get there because there are many other things you are good at. So
You're too nice, Sagar. You're too nice.
so good luck. I think people will see you later in the day today. Maybe there's some stream of yours.
Yes, yes. I'll plan. I'm not sure, but I'll plan
Okay,
something.
take care with it. Bye for now. See
Thanks,
you.
Sagar. Bye bye.
Okay, fantastic. I am going to make this, and yeah, one last look at this nice thumbnail which I liked very much. As always, Pulkit, thank you for making these nice thumbnails. These are wonderful, and I just want you guys to have a look at this camp that we are doing, and tell the people who are rated 2300 or close to that zone to check out this entire thing, because I think they will find it very useful. So it's the 10-day strategic balance course. This is Chuchelov, worked with Caruana, Giri, Hou Yifan, Radjabov, also Vidit, and he will teach you the strategic balance course for, and Vidit will teach you how he applied strategic balance in his games, and that is 10 hours for Vidit, 40 hours for Chuchelov, and that will be a 50-hour session. The dates are 1st to 10th of August, and the timings will be roughly around 12 p.m. Indian time. It will start, and it will go on till 6 to 7 p.m. in the day. And so roughly you can say that it's a 10-day course, so 5 hours each day, or some days there will be 6 hours, some day there will be 4 hours. It will be nicely spread out so that you can work on it well. And the fees of the course is 1,50,000. Remember, you are learning from the best in the world, and that is why these are the fees, and also you will really benefit out of it. So if you can go for it, please do so. And yes, Vidit is coming up with his own chess academy, and this working together with ChessBase India, we have been able to bring this. I think already 4 players have registered for this camp, and so you have the link in the description. Well, would be wonderful if you join in. Would be a nice improvement to your game. As always, I have mentioned, try to invest in your own self, because that's the best investment you can make, and it can be really useful to you if you can take that seriously. Working with Chuchelov would definitely take your game to the next level. I would like to thank a few people here who have been very kind to send super chats, and sorry I couldn't read them. I was totally focused on what Vladimir was saying, but I have one super chat right now, which is Ayushi Sharma, who says, "For your efforts, Sagar, Vidit bhai, big fan." Ayushi is today in big fan mode. And Nyanesh Goyal, thank you. Soumya Jyoti Chakraborty, what is the time control in Olympiad? Well, Soumya Jyoti, I'll check out, but should be a classical time control in my opinion. But yeah. And so guys, let's meet later tonight or tomorrow. We'll find out, but thank you for joining in, and big thanks to Vladimir for spending his precious time and telling us about his chess coaching journey, coaching the absolute best in the world of chess, and how he developed the strategic balance course. I hope you got an insight into what the world of top level players and trainers is all about. This is Sagar Shah signing off. Please do like the stream before leaving, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.